I've heard that life is what you make it. I say make room to grow. I'm your host, LaWanda Dockery, and this is the Make Room to Grow podcast. It all started with a dream about growing food, and who would ever imagine that growing food would lead to me learning about personal growth and development? Well, it did, and I want to bring you along for this beautiful ride. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Grow Nation. I hope you all are well, and we are in the midst of a Memorial Day holiday weekend. By the time you hear this, it'll be later, of course. But I wanted to come to you just to talk about this weather that we've been having. I live in Connecticut, Zone 7A, and we've been having some really interesting weather. Last week, it was well into the 90s, and the plants were taking off, y'all. Then over the last weekend, we got a cold snap that came. So in our area, this is typical Memorial Day behavior. I remember growing up, we would get all our outfits ready for the parade that we had in our town every single year. Now that's where you can break out your white. You can get your white sneakers. You got your new outfit. A lot of times we were reaching and we would reach for shorts for an outfit, and we knew it was just way too cold for that. But 9 times out of 10, we go to the parade. Whoever was in the parade would have to be walking in the rain. Poor high school band and all those types of groups. But we look at the parade, and just when the parade is over, the weather would start to break. The rain would let up. We would go home, light our grills for the first time that year for the summer, sort of the unofficial start to summer. And yeah, all will be right with the world. And so I'm reminded of Memorial Day weather behavior. Like this is so typical for where we are. But as we get older, we kind of forget those things that we once knew sometimes. So this is just a reminder. This whole weekend it's been raining like you wouldn't believe. And last week was so beautiful. In the 90s, you would not think that it would get this cold again. It's now down into the 40s at night, which brings me to you. A lot of times when we have these rainy days, it's cold, it's rainy, it's kind of gloomy, good sleeping weather for some people. You know, you want to bundle up under your blankets, and it's really not conducive to being outdoors or planning or doing anything in the garden because it's all soggy and muddy and just not very nice. I'd like to suggest to you that this is a good time for you to plan. I don't know if you've started. I don't know if maybe you started and maybe, you haven't had great success, or maybe you're like me, you have a couple days of downtime. Get planning. What else do you want to do for this year in the garden? What else do you want to grow? What are some goals? What are some things that you want to try for the first time? Use these days to really plan and map out why you don't have the responsibility of going out in the garden and get your hands dirty because you can't. It's too rainy, it's too cold, it's too wet for you to really do anything. Why don't you use these days for planning? It's making me think that a rainy day is not just a rainy day. Sometimes God knows when we need a pause to reset, regroup, and to really get a plan going. There's nothing like freshening up your game plan. There's nothing like sharpening up what you want to map out for the year. We have summer gardening, we have fall gardening. And if you have not started, even instead of mapping out maybe a diagram of what your garden will look like I did earlier this year, why don't you just create a list? Get some potting soil, get some seeds, go to your favorite local, big box store where you can get these supplies and get started. Once the rain lets up, get started. Don't delay. Let this be the year that you try this for the first time. I actually have an uncle who, for the first time, he's doing container gardening. He said because he saw what I was doing that he wanted to try it as well. And that brought me so much joy because all based off of a vision, all based off of a dream that God gave me and inspired me with. that someone else gets to partake in this. I think that is so beautiful. Not only does someone else to get to partake in it, but someone else gets to eat healthy food in my family. It's so much bigger than me, guys. When I say grow nation, I want there to be a nation of people, a tribe of people, a body of people who decide that we're going to take food into our own hands to the extent that we are able to. It's very simple. If you need any guidance, you can go back to my earlier videos. Explain to you how to start from seed. I explain to you how to start from starter plants. I explain different containers, different growing mediums, different fertilizers. I go into all of that. So go back into the playlist and look at those if you need help. Guys, I needed you to just hear my heart on this. I want to see as many people across this nation and this globe as possible, not depending solely upon a food supply. When we have the ability, we have the gifting, we have the just the grace of God to grow some of this food for ourselves. And then we can teach our children. It is just amazing how this thing never ends. All right, until next time, I want you to be intentional about those areas in your life where you are going to make room to grow.